If you've ever sent a pitch email and haven't heard anything back, this video is going to show you exactly why and what to do instead so that your product brand secures coverage in the top most coveted magazines that you get to share on your website, your socials, and give your product that authority and credibility that you know it deserves. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to pitch your product to a magazine, what to look out for, who to reach out for, what magazines are best for your product, and I'm leaving nothing out. So let's get into it. And welcome back. If you are new here, my name is Bridget Aileen Cisco. I am the co-founder of Visibility on Purpose, and we are a PR strategy and consulting studio helping CPG brands, product founders get featured in top magazines, podcasts, and TV without paying agency retainers. Basically, we pull back the curtain and tell you everything that we know. And if you hear a baby in the background, that is my 1-year-old. So here's the truth, and this is where we need to start today. A lot of product brands and founders don't really know how PR works, and that's what we're here to do. So the big things that a lot of product brands do when they're launching is they think, okay, we need to do a press release, which can be useful, and we have other videos talking about that. But you need to be thinking about from the perspective of an editor at the magazines that you want to get that product featured at. Editors don't just want the press release. They really want a story, right? A press release is simply a factual, detailed description of the product, the features, the benefit. And that's helpful and useful. And sometimes those stories do get picked up, but really editors want a story because they're getting hundreds of pitches that land in their inbox every single week, and they need it to be something different, right? The brands that usually get featured or placed in the latest gift guide or roundup, they have a clear angle and they make the editor's job really easy. So that's an important thing. It's like, what is the story that your product fits into? What is the larger narrative that's happening in the world? And why should your product be part of what's going on currently? So here's what's important to think about. Step one is to understand what the outlet is that you're going to be reaching out to. What are some of the things that they already talk about? What are the categories they share about? A helpful thing that you can do is actually check out some recent articles, recent editions, check out some issues, look at some of the categories that they already talk about. Then look at their editorial calendar. So sometimes at the bottom of a website, you can actually find the publication, or even just on Google, you can search the publication name plus editorial calendar, and you can find their theme schedule. It's the things that they're talking about on a consistent basis. And this can be things like the seasons, current events, it can be holidays. That's things that they're naturally talking about, and you want to have some lead up time. So then we want to be thinking about what is the right section for your product. Is it a gift guide? Is it a roundup? Is it a founder story? And understand that angle before you pitch because it might change the pitch a little bit. And if you ever need help writing your pitch, that's actually what we do for brands. So you can feel free to reach out to us. You can also see who they've already featured. So if you have a similar brand, or even you can use a keyword, go right on that outlet that you're looking to pitch, and you can write in a keyword. So let's say it is, a tonic or like a seltzer. Maybe you create some sort of like sparkling seltzer with natural herbs in it, like mint or lavender or something like that. So you can look up seltzer and you can see what brands are already being featured. Maybe it's some of your competitors or it's a similar brand. And that is a green light because it means, hey, they're already talking about this. Step two is really understanding that pitching at the right time is extremely important. And having some lead time for that pitch is also extremely important. So, we've worked with a lot of brands that are about to launch and they're like, we're launching next month. Like, should I reach out right now? And it's not to say that it's not possible because we have seen it possible, but just know that there is a timeline for everything and giving a writer some time can be very helpful. So print magazines, they're usually prepping for issues far, far ahead of time. So for maybe even 6 months, I'd say that's like on the high time. Online publications are a little bit quicker, but you're still planning ahead. Holiday gift guides, although they're coming out in December, so when you see like best things to have on, your family's table this Christmas season, you're actually going to want to start pitching in the summer, July, August, September. That's when they're starting to gather the content for the gift guides. And then trending stories, that can be a little bit more timely, right? Because if something happened in the news and your brand or your product is actually a fit for what's going on, that's going to be a little bit quicker. One thing that we see is that brands might not hear back from an editor because they are expecting that editor to or writer to want to cover them like tomorrow when they've already covered that story. So planning your PR calendar is almost like a product calendar. It's almost like your, social media content or your email content. Send it out in advance. It's really going to help and support you. Step three is finding the right editor or writer, not just anyone. So if you're in the food and beverage industry and we work with a lot of CPG and food and beverage brands, you want to be thinking about who's writing about the beverages, the snacks, the condiments. If you have a like tallow skin lotion, you want to be thinking about who writes about beauty, cosmetics, hair care, personal care. And there are staff writers at magazines, but there are also a lot of freelance writers, and they might write about numerous topics. So take a look at their muck rack, take a look at their socials, and make sure that they're like a good fit. And letting them know you actually read their content is never a bad idea. Wellness brand. So say that you make some sort of adaptogenic like coffee, or you make a adaptogenic like mushroom tea. Maybe a health and wellness editor would like to talk about the functional products. Gift guides. You want to be reaching out to the people who actually write those gift guides. And then brand stories, founder story, brand mission, cultural angle. I'll move out of the way so you can kind of see this here. Maybe we go this way. There you go. So knowing who to reach out to, and this just takes a little bit of research on your end when you are finding the right publication. And again, if you ever like need help with writing the pitch or finding the right publication, that is also what we do with brands. Because I know that one of the hardest things, like even for me, as my background is in publishing and marketing and advertising sales, and when I was looking to get coverage for myself, I was like, I don't even know what's out there. Like, what magazines exist? A lot of people don't like read magazines anymore. But brands know it's so powerful for the credibility, for the backlinking, for just being able to put that in your website, being able to connect to that online. So if you need help with that, that's what we do here. Okay, step four, anatomy of a pitch. So we always want to have like a little hook that is timely to what they might be writing about. It might be opening with a question. It's like you might be familiar with a mushroom tonic, but are you familiar with espresso tonic and how that could lift your day mid-afternoon? So you want to have something that's going to kind of open a conversation, not just, here's my product, interview me. That's not usually working well. Why now and why then? Now that is important, right? Because what's going on in the world? What did they naturally cover? What are trends that they're seeing? It needs to be something that connects to that writer and that time. Then, of course, you want to explain what your product is, how it's a little bit different, and why it's like a really good fit for this magazine. And the ask, happy to send some samples over for your summer wellness roundup. And that's important for product brands. You really do want to have these samples on hand, and we would want to be sending them to the writers so they can actually experience your product and naturally write about it. Logistics, price, where to buy, high resolution images, important, sample, etc., etc. Subject lines. Now, this is important as well. And we'll say this is step 5. So, subject lines, that is like your first entry point. Here are some good ones. New grain-free tortilla for the Whole30 community. Samples available. For your summer wellness roundup, 5-ingredient prebiotic snack bar. The clean deodorant your readers have been asking about. Exciting new product launch press release attached. Like that gives the writer nothing. It's generic. It doesn't feel personalized at all. Partnership opportunity. That's not the way that PR works. Remember that this is a symbiotic, synergistic relationship. There is no like monetary exchange here. You're providing value. You can tell that those first 3 examples here are providing value, and that is more likely to get opened. And hey, even if you have a really good subject line, sometimes timing is important, and it just really might not be the right time for them to, number one, read this pitch or them to cover this story. They might have just covered a similar story. They're not currently writing anything like that at this time. So do remember there are accentuating circumstances that could result in that pitch not being open or you not getting a response right away. Important things to do versus not do. Doing this, personalizing the pitch, I think that is extremely important. Obviously, you're writing their name, but hey, if you read their article or like loved their last summer roundup talking about like the best barbecue sauces and that it led you to go buy one, let them know. I think that actually goes pretty far. We do get questions sometimes. We're like, is that actually worth it? We think so. Offer samples. Again, as I mentioned already, that is going to be important. They're going to want to sample your product. Following up, we love that. We need to follow up after a certain point. We need the follow up. And actually, most of the media successes come at the follow up. Stop doing this. We're not going to mass blast all these pitches to everyone, and just like personalizing can go a long way. Leading with your brand, we would love to be featured. That's not the pitch. Remember, we have to be sharing value. Attaching a press release, we'd recommend uploading to BevNet or uploading to PR Newswire and doing it that way. I think that's a little bit more helpful here. And pitching the wrong season. Let's see if I can move out of the way so you can see it. My best reminder. So the follow up is usually where your features are going to happen, and they might not respond on that first email. And that doesn't mean it's a no. It's just like, hey, my inbox is super full or not something I can handle right now. But we've interviewed so many writers on our podcast where we're like, hey, like, how do you organize all these things? And we have found that they have really good organizational systems in their inbox where they can type in keywords and find your pitch. So if they do need a source or a product that relates to yours, like send that pitch. So steps here, you're going to wait a couple of days, 5 to 7 business days. Following up next day, probably wouldn't do that. A short little blip, 1, 2, 3 sentences, really max. You can always add something new, like something that could be interesting, a new angle, just like a new trend, something that you saw, why this is even more relevant. And we don't recommend really more than one follow up. So if you are ready to get featured, we love doing our personalized PR plans. They're really built for brands specifically. We work with a lot of CPG founders, from olive oil companies to tomato paste brands to espresso tonic companies to seltzers to, green powders. We've done a lot of work in that space, and it's just really fun for us to work with brands who are starting out and they need some guidance. So that is what we can do here for you. And as always, we love doing videos like this. So if you enjoy this type of content, please let us know. Please like, subscribe, comment, and we would love to hear what you want to hear about next. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll see you again soon.